Imagine this. You're 78 years old, standing at the base of a staircase. 10 steps to the top. 10 steps that used to terrify you. Your heart would race, your legs would tremble, and you'd instinctively reach for the railing with both hands. But not today. Today, you rise. Each step is solid, no pain, no hesitation, and at the top, your grandchild shouts, "Grandma, you beat me." This isn't a fantasy. This is what happens when we stop treating leg weakness as just aging and start understanding it for what it really is. A nutritional deficiency that can be reversed at any age. Because the truth is, the strength in your legs doesn't fade because of time. It fades because your muscles, bones, and nerves are starving for something no one told you to feed them. And welcome to Daily Elder Advice, your trusted place for real stories, real science, and real solutions for aging gracefully and powerfully. I'm not a voiceover. I'm a researcher who spent 2 decades exploring what helps older adults not just live longer but move stronger. And in this video, we're going far beyond generic advice. We're diving deep into how vitamins, yes, simple vitamins, can help you reclaim the independence, mobility, and freedom that every one of us deserves after 60. You'll learn why leg strength starts in your cells, not just your gym shoes. Which 5 vitamins change everything, especially after 70. The shocking deficiencies no one tests for until it's too late. The exact foods, doses, and combinations that work. Why this matters deeply to me. In all my years of researching senior health, I've noticed something heartbreaking. It's not the falls that scare older adults the most. It's what comes after. It's the loss of confidence, the loss of autonomy, that quiet fear that your world is shrinking, that your body is giving up before your spirit is ready. But your spirit isn't the problem. Your muscles are still there, buried under years of nutritional neglect and medical oversight. Doctors prescribe pills for bones, exercises for balance, but few ever ask, what's happening inside your cells? What vitamins are missing from this picture? That's where this journey begins. Because the truth is simple. Nutrition can restore what age and neglect have taken away. But only if we know what to feed our body and when. So grab a notebook, grab a cup of tea, and make this next hour a gift to yourself or someone you love. And if you find any part of this helpful, please like this video, subscribe, and share your story in the comments. Because this isn't just a health guide. It's a movement to age powerfully, walk boldly, and live fully. Let's begin. Chapter 1: Vitamin D, the hidden power switch you've been missing. The silent weakening that starts with the sun. For most of our lives, we thought of the sun as just the sun, a warm companion on a morning walk, a reason to wear hats in the garden. But hidden beneath its light is something far more powerful than most seniors ever realize. Vitamin D, a silent, essential switch that can either keep your legs strong or let them slowly fade. Now here's the part no one told you. After age 60, your skin, yes, your skin, produces 70% less vitamin D from sunlight. Even if you spend your afternoons on the porch, the sun's gift no longer reaches your muscles like it once did. The machine still runs, but the power cord, it's slipping from the socket. And that's why, without warning, once sturdy legs begin to falter. You're not tired because you're old. You're tired because your muscles are starving for a power source they no longer get naturally. What vitamin D really does for your legs. Imagine you're about to stand up from a chair. It seems simple, right? But underneath that motion is a flurry of biological coordination. Fast twitch muscle fibers fire to lift your weight quickly. Balance reflexes in your legs and brain sync to prevent falls. Energy reserves in your thighs light up to give you lift. And at the center of all this? Vitamin D. Researchers at Harvard call it the ignition key for muscle power. Without it, your fast-twitch muscle fibers, the very fibers that stop you from falling, stay in sleep mode. They're there, but inactive. It's like owning a car with the engine off. The structure is fine, but the movement? Lifeless. In fact, one landmark study showed that seniors with optimal vitamin D levels had 27% greater leg strength than those who were mildly deficient. And those with severely low levels? They didn't just feel weak. They were 83% more likely to fall, even if their muscles looked strong. Why? Because it's not just about muscle bulk. It's about neuromuscular coordination, and vitamin D is the bridge. The brain-muscle connection. It gets more fascinating. Your cerebellum, the part of your brain that controls balance, also depends on vitamin D. Low D levels don't just make you weak. They make you clumsy, slow to react, hesitant to move, and when brain and muscle fall out of sync, you fall too. That's why seniors with low vitamin D are more likely to fall even if their muscles are strong. The message from brain to body is delayed, just enough to miss a stair or trip over a rug. So boosting vitamin D doesn't just build muscle. It sharpens the signal, tightening your internal communication system. Signs you might be deficient right now. You might not feel anything until it's too late. But here are early signs. Legs feel sluggish when climbing stairs. You feel wobbly when standing, even if you haven't lost muscle. You get frequent aches, especially in the thighs or hips. Your balance feels off, especially at night. If that's you, don't panic, but don't ignore it either. Let's be clear, vitamin D isn't a miracle drug, but it is a missing foundation in millions of older adults. Without it, exercise feels ineffective, supplements feel useless, and strength gains? Frustratingly slow. But with it, your legs feel awake, alive, responsive, you move more, you fall less, and confidence builds, not in fantasy, but in chemistry. It's not too late to change this. Chapter 2: Vitamin B12, the silent messenger between brain and legs. While most people associate B12 with energy levels, its role in neuromuscular communication is far more crucial, especially after 60. This isn't about feeling tired. This is about your brain's ability to send signals to your legs, and your legs' ability to respond instantly, confidently, and safely. And when that system breaks down, even slightly, your body becomes unpredictable. Balance wavers, reflexes dull, and suddenly, the simple act of rising from a chair can feel like crossing a tightrope. What exactly does vitamin B12 do? Vitamin B12 is essential for maintaining the myelin sheath, the protective coating around your nerves, transmitting electrical signals from the brain to the muscles, preventing nerve misfiring that causes delay, tremor, or loss of balance, creating red blood cells that carry oxygen to your muscles. In other words, B12 is like the wiring in your home. Without it, the lights flicker, appliances sputter, and the connection between switch and bulb is unreliable. Why seniors are especially at risk? Here's the hidden danger. Your ability to absorb B12 declines sharply with age. After 60, your stomach naturally produces less hydrochloric acid, and that acid is necessary to free B12 from food so it can be absorbed. But it gets worse. Common medications used by seniors make the problem even more severe. Metformin, for type 2 diabetes. Proton pump inhibitors, like omeprazole, for acid reflux. Antacids, even over the counter. Blood pressure medications. These drugs interfere with B12 absorption or increase its excretion. And yet, most doctors never adjust your B12 intake to compensate. The result? A slow, silent depletion, often dismissed as normal aging. But it's not normal. It's preventable. Early warning signs of B12 deficiency. Because B12 supports nerve function, deficiencies don't always show up in blood work right away, but your body sends early warnings. Numbness or tingling in feet or hands. Sudden fatigue after light activity. Frequent stumbles or loss of balance. Pale or yellowing skin. Shortness of breath without exertion. Any one of these might seem minor on its own, but together, they signal a critical interruption in neuromuscular communication. How much B12 do you really need after 60? The recommended daily intake is 2.4 micrograms for adults, but that number assumes perfect absorption, which almost no one over 60 has. If you're taking medications that interfere with absorption, your needs may double or more. The best food sources of vitamin B12. For most seniors, food should still be the first line of defense, if chosen wisely. Top B12-rich foods include Beef liver, one slice delivers over 700% of the daily need. Clams and shellfish, extremely high B12 content. Wild-caught salmon and tuna. Sardines and mackerel. Fortified nutritional yeast, great for vegetarians. Eggs, especially the yolks. Dairy, Greek yogurt, cheese, and cottage cheese. However, even if you eat these foods regularly, absorption remains the challenge. That's why dietary intake must often be paired with supplementation in seniors. Pairing B12 with the right foods for better impact. To further enhance absorption, consider pairing your B12-rich meals with foods that support nervous system health. B12 plus folate helps red blood cell formation. B12 plus omega-3s supports nerve membranes. B12 plus choline aids in neurotransmitter production. These combinations don't just support B12's role in the body, they amplify it. What happens without enough B12? Without B12, here's what you risk. Slower reflexes, which turns a stumble into a fall. Muscle miscommunication, like starting to stand up and then freezing. Fatigue after short walks, because muscles don't receive clean instructions. Nerve damage, which can become permanent if left untreated for too long. And unlike many vitamins, B12 doesn't show symptoms in one day. It fades slowly, quietly, subtly, which makes it dangerous. Daily routine for B12 optimization. Want to improve leg-brain connection starting today? Here's a simple morning routine. 1. Start your day with protein, scrambled eggs, Greek yogurt, or cottage cheese. 2. Add a sublingual B12 supplement, preferably 500-1.000 mcg. 3. Eat fatty fish 2 to 3 times per week, like salmon or sardines. 4. Avoid antacids before meals, they reduce stomach acid. Essential for B12 absorption. 5. Drink plenty of water. Hydration improves nutrient transport to nerves. Leg strength isn't just about muscle. It's about communication. When your brain speaks and your legs hesitate, you risk more than weakness, you risk falls, fractures, and fear. But when that line of communication is restored, you gain back confidence, reaction time, and freedom. That's what vitamin B12 can do, not just as a supplement, but as a critical signal restorer between mind and movement. Before you blame aging, check your wiring. Chapter 3: Vitamin C, the invisible glue that holds your legs together. The quiet architect of strength and stability. When we hear vitamin C, most of us think about cold prevention, orange juice, or immune support, but very few understand its real role in the body, especially for seniors struggling with balance. Leg stability, or that strange unsteadiness when standing. Vitamin C isn't just a protective antioxidant. It is the master architect of collagen, the glue that literally holds your legs together. From muscles and tendons to ligaments and joints, your body relies on collagen to stabilize every movement. And vitamin C is the nutrient that makes collagen possible. Without it, your body can't rebuild what movement naturally breaks down. So if your legs feel shaky, weak, or unsteady, the issue may not be your muscles. It may be the invisible scaffolding around them, the collagen that binds muscle to bone, and bone to function. Vitamin C, more than just an immune booster. Let's clarify something. Vitamin C's true superpower lies in its role as a cofactor for collagen synthesis. That means it enables enzymes in your body to convert pro-collagen into strong, stable, usable collagen fibers. These fibers connect muscle to bone through tendons, reinforce ligaments around the knees, hips, and ankles, maintain the flexibility and strength of your joints, protect against tearing, bruising, and instability. And here's the hidden truth. Collagen breaks down faster as you age, especially after 60. The result? You stand up and feel your knees wobble. You walk longer than usual and your shins ache. You feel discomfort when climbing stairs, not because of weak muscle, but because your tendons can't handle the strain. And if your body doesn't have enough vitamin C, it can't repair these vital structures. Why seniors need way more vitamin C than they think. Most official guidelines suggest 75 to 90 milligrams of vitamin C daily. But those numbers are based on younger adults and don't account for decreased collagen turnover in seniors, increased oxidative stress on aging tissues, chronic inflammation that weakens tendons, slower recovery from muscle use. Research from the National Institute on Aging recommends a daily intake of 400 to 500 milligrams for older adults to maintain optimal tendon and joint integrity. That's 5 to 6 times more than what most multivitamins offer. If you've been relying on a standard, senior, vitamin to cover your vitamin C needs, there's a high chance it's not even close to enough. How vitamin C fuels your leg power. Besides building collagen, vitamin C also plays a vital role in fatty acid transport inside muscle cells. Here's what that means. Your muscles need energy, especially during activities like walking, climbing stairs, or standing for long periods. Vitamin C helps ferry fatty acids into mitochondria, the powerhouses inside each cell. Without this support, your muscles can't access stored energy efficiently. That's why many seniors with low vitamin C levels report quick fatigue even after mild exertion, slow recovery after a walk, a lack of second wind during physical tasks. Optimizing your vitamin C levels allows your muscles to perform better, longer, and recover faster. Best sources of vitamin C for seniors. Let's move beyond oranges. Here are power-packed options rich in vitamin C and suitable for aging bodies. Red bell peppers, nearly 3x the vitamin C of an orange. Strawberries, delicious and antioxidant-rich. Kiwi, one medium fruit can provide over 70 milligrams. Broccoli, when lightly steamed, it preserves most vitamin C. Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, papaya, and guava. And for those with sensitive stomachs, acerola cherry powder or liposomal vitamin C supplements provide concentrated doses with high bioavailability. The hidden consequences of deficiency. When your vitamin C levels are too low, you may experience shakiness in your knees or ankles, persistent soreness after walking or standing, easy bruising or slow wound healing, dry, creaky joints, frequent leg fatigue, even after minimal exertion. Left untreated, these subtle issues snowball into something bigger: reduced mobility, increased fall risk, and a body that feels increasingly fragile. But with just a few dietary changes, you can shift the tide. Chapter 4: Vitamin E, the muscle shield that slows aging from the inside out. What exactly does vitamin E do? Think of your muscles like a well-used car engine. Every movement produces heat and friction. Over time, that friction causes microscopic damage to the cells inside your muscles, particularly inside the mitochondria, where energy is made. Vitamin E is the oil in that engine. It prevents the breakdown before it starts. Specifically, vitamin E protects muscle membranes from oxidative stress, preserves mitochondrial function, ensuring stable energy production, reduces inflammation that can silently weaken leg strength, slows down age-related muscle loss. Without it, even light activity can accelerate muscle fatigue and breakdown. With it, your muscles recover faster and resist aging longer. The best natural sources of functional vitamin E. Fortunately, nature provides vitamin E in its most bioavailable and complete forms, if you know where to look. Sunflower seeds, walnuts and pecans, wheat germ oil, spinach and Swiss chard, avocados, olive oil, almonds, Brazil nuts. You don't need fancy supplements. A diet rich in these foods consistently provides enough vitamin E to build a muscle protective shield from within. Why your thighs and calves need vitamin E the most. The thigh and calf muscles are two of the largest muscle groups in your body. They also contain the highest concentration of mitochondria, since they power movement, balance, and walking. As we age, these mitochondria produce less energy, become more prone to oxidative stress, lose efficiency. Vitamin E helps preserve their membranes, keeping the energy flowing. Without it, every step costs more energy than it should, and you fatigue faster. Common signs of vitamin E deficiency in seniors. Because vitamin E deficiency is slow and subtle, it's often mistaken for normal aging. But look closely, and you might notice cramping or soreness after mild activity, sluggish leg recovery, muscle weakness, especially in thighs, tingling or numbness in the extremities, in severe cases, poor balance, even without obvious joint issues. These aren't just signs of age, they're warning signs of a shield that's thinning. How much vitamin E do you really need after 60? The recommended daily intake is around 15 milligrams. But older adults, especially those with low-fat diets or absorption issues, may benefit from slightly higher intakes. Ideally from food. Fat is essential for vitamin E absorption, so pairing vitamin E-rich foods with healthy fats ensures better absorption and longer-lasting muscle protection. For example, almonds with Greek yogurt, avocado toast with sunflower seeds, olive oil on leafy greens, wheat germs sprinkled on oatmeal. Who should be especially careful with supplementation? While vitamin E from food is very safe, high-dose supplements may not be suitable for everyone. People taking blood thinners, like warfarin, cholesterol-lowering medications, certain chemotherapy drugs, should consult their physician before adding high-dose vitamin E supplements. In these cases, food-based sources remain the safest and most beneficial approach. Chapter 5: Vitamin B6, the protein activator that powers every step you take. Why vitamin B6 matters so much for your legs. Vitamin B6 plays a central role in activating over 100 enzymes involved in protein metabolism, building neurotransmitters like GABA and serotonin that control muscle tension and mood, releasing stored glucose from your muscles when you start to move, reducing inflammation in muscle tissues after exertion. It is especially important for older adults, whose protein needs are higher, but whose ability to process it is lower without B6. In practical terms, this vitamin allows your legs to access immediate energy during walking or standing, prevent cramps and twitching during the night, recover faster after daily movement, maintain lean muscle mass and reduce fat infiltration. B6 and the heavy legs phenomenon. Ever feel like your legs are full of sandbags when you first get out of bed or rise from a chair? That sluggish sensation often has little to do with strength, and a lot to do with poor energy access. Here's why. At the start of physical movement, your muscles need to rapidly convert stored glycogen into glucose, a quick energy source. Vitamin B6 activates the enzymes responsible for this process. Without it, your muscles hesitate, lag, and take longer to wake up. A Dutch study found that seniors with optimal B6 levels had 25% faster access to energy in the first 2 minutes of movement. That could be the difference between catching your balance or falling. Nighttime leg cramps and restless legs? Check your B6. Many older adults complain of cramps during sleep, tingling or twitching in the calves, restless leg syndrome, interrupted sleep due to leg discomfort. While these are often blamed on dehydration or circulation, low B6 levels are a frequent but underdiagnosed cause. Why? Because vitamin B6 helps your brain produce GABA, a calming neurotransmitter that prevents excessive muscle firing during rest. Without enough B6, your muscles may remain overexcitable, especially during the night when inhibitory brain signals are lower. Optimizing B6, particularly during your evening meal, can dramatically improve sleep quality and reduce nighttime muscle activity, helping your legs rest and recover. How much B6 do seniors really need? The standard recommendation is around 1.7 milligrams per day for adults over 50. But studies suggest that older adults, especially those on medication or recovering from muscle loss, may benefit from 3 to 5 milligrams per day, either through food or supplementation. B6 is water-soluble, meaning your body doesn't store much of it, and you need a consistent daily intake. Thankfully, B6-rich foods are widely available. Best food sources of vitamin B6 for leg strength. Aim to include these foods regularly in your meal rotation. Chicken and turkey, especially the darker cuts. Tuna and salmon. Bananas. Potatoes, baked with the skin. Avocados. Chickpeas and lentils. Sunflower seeds. Spinach and fortified cereals. And remember, cooking method matters. Since B6 is water-soluble, boiling or overcooking can reduce its potency by up to 40%. Instead, bake or roast potatoes. Steam vegetables lightly. Eat fruits and seeds raw when possible. What happens when you don't get enough B6? Even a mild deficiency can lead to persistent leg fatigue, difficulty initiating movement, night cramps or muscle twitching, mood swings and low motivation, weakened protein metabolism, leading to muscle loss. You wouldn't expect your car to run well if the spark plugs were faulty. In the same way, you can't expect your legs to stay strong without vitamin B6 firing up your protein metabolism and cellular energy access. This vitamin may not be as famous as D or E, but make no mistake, it's one of the most critical nutrients for functional strength after 60. You don't need expensive treatments. You need smart nutrition, timed properly, and supported consistently. Because your next step deserves the fuel it takes to feel strong, not just mobile. As we come to the end of this journey, one thing becomes clear: your legs, your energy, your confidence, they don't fade simply because of time. They fade when your body is undernourished at the cellular level. What we've uncovered today is not a list of supplements, but a map back to strength. Vitamin D turns the lights back on in your fast-twitch muscles, helping you rise, stabilize, and protect yourself. Vitamin B12 restores the vital nerve connections between your brain and your legs, allowing each step to feel intentional and responsive. Vitamin C quietly rebuilds the collagen that holds your legs together, keeping your joints stable and your movements smooth. Vitamin E shields your muscles from the silent wear and tear of everyday activity, ensuring your effort doesn't go to waste. And vitamin B6 powers the process, turning protein into motion, reducing fatigue, and calming restless legs at night. These 5 nutrients, often overlooked or misunderstood, form the foundation of strength after 60. When they're missing, weakness sets in quietly. But when they return, so does your vitality. Aging does not mean surrendering movement. It means understanding how to support it differently, and with more intention. Your next strong step doesn't come from pushing harder, it comes from nourishing smarter. And that begins today.